BigBear.ai shares are getting a lift after, or got a lift after the company received a $165 million contract from the U.S. Army, the 5-year production contract to contribute to the Army's digital transformation efforts. In the age of artificial intelligence, we're taking a look at the shifting landscape for decision intelligence with the CEO of BigBear.ai. That is Mandy Long. Mandy, thank you so much for being here. So this contract, first of all, just talk us through the contract, what exactly you guys are going to be doing as part of it.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me back. So this is a long time coming and a huge amount of effort by the team. I'm incredibly proud of this milestone for the company. The basis of GFIM is really about empowering senior leaders and combatant commanders to make data-driven force structure decisions. The intent here being that we can make decisions with greater confidence, and we can ensure that the Army is properly manned, equipped, trained, and resourced.
Mandy, let me ask you, when you're competing for these contracts, who are you competing against? I mean, who's in the bake-off, and what is your competitive advantage there?
So we often, I think, something that we've been working on really hard at BigBear.ai is continuing to move upstream, right, in these competitive bids. The GFIM contract for us is something we've been pursuing for years. We've talked about GFIM for several years in previous earnings announcements. It's a pursuit that we have been on. We've gone phase by phase, and it was a process that was extremely competitive. We went up against a lot of the big boys that are out there, and this is it's a formidable achievement for us because it's a sole source prime award, right? Which for a company like BigBear.ai is a huge milestone moment because it means that we are now in the game, right, at scale as a prime. And I think the key for us, right, is that we have focused for years on developing deep partnerships with our customers. Our folks come from the missions, right? We leverage cutting edge technology, and we leverage our domain expertise over decades and decades of work to deliver solutions that focus on some of the most complex challenges that the DoD faces.
And Mandy, you referred to the big boys, meaning the sort of legacy defense contractors, and that brings up a question for me about sort of where we are in that evolution to that next generation of contractors, and whether the big boys, so to speak, are housing some of that knowledge and ability, or is it more migrating to players like yourselves, or even some privately held companies and other smaller upstarts? Where are we sort of in that continuum right now?
I think some of the recent wins that we've seen, and if I use an example of an exercise that we participated in recently, the Department of Defense T-Rex 24-2, right? That's an exercise that's held. It included, more than 75 new as well as innovative defense technologies. And that did include, right, some of the traditional prime contractors that we see in the space, but it also included a large cohort of transformative technologies. For us, it was a big milestone because as you think about disrupting this space, when we look forward into the adoption of artificial intelligence, the proliferation of pushing that type of technology to the edge, it's why we've been investing in Conductor OS for more than a year. And T-Rex 24-2 was the first time that we were able to deploy that edge infrastructure technology in an operating environment to build a COP, right, a common operating picture for the customer. And it was a breakout moment for the company.
Mandy, AI, it's a tool, and it's a potentially very powerful one. I'm curious, are there certain industries, certain sectors where you think you're going to see the most disruption in kind of near, intermediate term here?
So this is a bigger question than BigBear.ai, but one that I've been around as I've seen a variety of different industries attempt to really break into the use of artificial intelligence in productive environments. And that's really the key here. How do you go from an expensive and exciting set of experiments into operational environments where there's tangible ROI? And in industries, one of the industries that I spent, more than a decade in, which is healthcare, I think we saw and have continued to see great adoption in that space of the use of artificial intelligence. Now, one of the things that I stress a lot is that where I believe we're going to see a huge amount of AI adopted across industries is in a lot of those environments where patterns exist, right? Because that's where AI excels today. And the ability to introduce automation in things that have historically either introduced cost or expense, right, to companies, or slowed down time to deliver customer value, right? That's going to be the stuff where we see it first, and then over time, I think we'll move upstream into some of these more esoteric use cases.
Mandy, great to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.